know, Dave, I've known you how many years?
54.
Well, how do we ever meet?
Because what happened, I turned 16 on a Monday. And you know, back in 1962, in those days, most kids, you know, we didn't go out during the week.
Yeah.
But on Friday, I asked my parents if I could take the car, and I wanted to come meet this disc jockey named George Klein. And you know, I was in the music business for however long it's been, 40 some odd years. And I met so many DJs that told me how they wanted to meet the disc jockeys when they were kids because they wanted to be in radio. Well, I didn't want to be in radio. I wanted to meet you because you booked bands and I was in a band. You were booking Lakeland. So I came up, what do we call it, the magazine floor at the Hotel Chiska. And I waited. At 10 o'clock you were through. And I waited and waited, and finally you opened the door, and you were unbelievably cordial and nice. You invited me in the studio, in the station, and you showed me that room where the magic came from. Because, you know, it was before computers and all that stuff. All we had was radio. And I saw that room where the magic comes from, and that's 54-year friendship that I treasure quite a bit.
Okay, David, how did you come up with the name Flash and the board of directors? It was first. It was the Casuals.
Yeah.
And Steve Cropper was in. I mean, Steve Blockman.
Steve Blockman. We recorded some stuff with Steve, but Jerry Williams had been working with the Guillotines, and they were the opening act on a Paul Revere and the Raiders tour in '66. Well, Paul wanted a bigger group. You know, the Guillotines were 3 guys. We had the 6 musicians and myself, and so Jerry got us the gig in '67. And a few weeks before, Dick Clark calls Paul and said, I see you got this band Flash and the Casuals. Well, they have to change their name, or they can't go out with you because Brenda Lee's band is the Casuals, and they're on the road. Yeah. So we you know, you want the coolest name you can get, and we were there for a while. Then you came over to our apartment and
on Poplar Street.
That's it. And I remember getting the phone book and going through the yellow pages, and I got to banks, and I didn't know anything about banks. I was 20, 21 years old, and I thought board of directors. And I don't know if it was that it was such a great name, but I don't think people thought it was bad as everything else we've been talking about for the last 2 hours. And that's what we did that from 67 until 73.
Now you had a bunch of great drummers in your group. Name some of them.
Well, Joe Carrero Jr. Did the first tour with us, and Joe became the Raiders drummer after our first tour. Okay. Then Howard Grimes.
Oh, great drummer.
Howard's the drummer for the High Rhythm section, all those Al Green records. And then the last 2 tours was Thomas Boggs, who was with the Counts, and then, you know, Thomas had a great career in the restaurant business here and was just a great Memphian, very philanthropic guy, great guy.
The biggest thing you got most publicity for was you played Elvis Presley's New Year's Eve party.
3 of them.
3 of them.
You know, you used to come down to the Thunderbird Lounge where we were the house band, and then when Elvis and the guys were back from making movies, the guys used to come down. Alan Fortas, Richard Davis, Charlie Hodge would come some.
Were you at TJ's then?
We were at Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, okay.
And so 2 years in a row, 67 going into 68, 68 going into 69, Elvis rented the Thunderbird and we played. First year, B.J. Thomas was living here making records with Chips, and I think Elvis liked us well enough. Everybody seemed to have a good time, but I think he really liked B.J.
Yeah. Now, I know that.
And then the third year, he rented TJ's, Herbie O'Mel's club,
right,
where Ronnie Mills sat. This was before Ronnie was a country artist.
Yeah.
But they hired us to come play afterwards. So we played the Thunderbird and then came over about 2 in the morning and played after Ronnie.
So what's happening with Flash now?
Well, I'm in the management business. I manage a guy by the name of Grady Champion. You met Grady. Grady's album is coming here in September, and a girl by the name of J.J. Timms. You've had J.J. on the show. She's just a fantastic singer.
She is.
She's really the real deal. And then a guitarist and vocalist by the name of Eddie Cotton. Eddie won the 2015 International Blues Challenge, and he was honored in August for the Just Blues Foundation. Had their award show, and they gave him for one of the entertainers of the year.
Flash, I know, like I said, I'm repeating myself. We could do an hour with you, but I know I'll see you at the Tiger basketball game.
Absolutely.
The Flash,
Thank you, GK.
Flash from Memphis Sounds with GK.